Hey everybody, it's Kobe. I just wanted to give you a couple quick notes before you dug into this episode. First of all, the episode that you're about to see was taped last year, about 9 months ago. And so some of the things that you might hear in it might sound a little bit dated, but 99% of the episode we went through, we reviewed it, is still very relevant. And David Light is always an incredible person to sit down and have a conversation with. So I think you're going to really enjoy it. Second thing is, we did take some time off last year, kind of trying to figure out where we wanted to go with the podcast. Did some stuff. I changed companies, and so I wanted to let you know that we are committed to coming back to our every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time release, and so we will have these every week going forward. And we're excited to show you what we've came up with this year as far as new ideas, new folks to visit with. We appreciate you giving us that time last year to get some things together and get organized. And now we're excited to come back even better than ever. So look forward to what we bring this year and enjoy this episode. Today on the American Land Seller, we have David Light, Chief Development Officer of the Land Broker Co-op and the publisher of the Land Broker MLS Magazine. With a deep commitment to empowering land professionals, David has been instrumental in developing platforms that prioritize brokers and agents' control over their data and marketing strategies. In his role at the Land Broker Co-op, David oversees initiatives that provide land real estate specialists with tools to manage their listings effectively. The co-op, launched in 2018, stands as the only broker-agent-owned cooperative in the land industry, providing members equal ownership and a unified voice in the marketplace. Under David's leadership, the co-op has expanded its reach, featuring over 60,000 active land listings and attracting more than 4.5 million monthly views across its network of sites. As the publisher of the Land Broker MLS Magazine, David curates content that showcases exceptional properties and provides valuable insight to the market. The magazine serves as a premier resource for buyers and sellers worldwide, reflecting David's dedication to delivering quality information and enhancing the visibility of members' listings. Beyond his role at the co-op and the magazine, David is the founder of Open Fences Media, further demonstrating his entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to the land brokerage community. Today, we delve into David's journey, discuss the evolution of the Land Broker Co-op, and explore the future of land brokerage in an increasingly digital world. Stay tuned for an enlightening conversation with David Light, right here on the American Land Seller Podcast.
Welcome to the American Land Seller Podcast with your host, Kobe Rickardson. Kobe is an accredited land consultant and multi-state land broker with High Point Land Company. Join us each week as we explore all things land. We bring you fresh insights and expert guests on sales, marketing, regulations, economics, and so much more. Visit www.americanlandseller.com and find us on one of your favorite podcast platforms.
Okay, Kobe and our special guests, let's get started.
All right, welcome back to the American Land Seller Podcast. We have with us today David Light with Land Broker Co-op, Land Broker MLS. David, how are we doing today?
I'm very well, Kobe. Very well. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm excited to have you on to kind of talk about the Land Broker Co-op. I'm actually an ambassador for Land Broker Co-op, so big fan of it. But talk to me just a little bit about like maybe your history a little bit, David, so people can get to know you, and then let's dig into how come we have the Land Broker Co-op today.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the offer, the opportunity. I've been bouncing around the land industry for over 20 years on the media side of the business. I started with Farm and Ranch Magazine when it was basically the magazine was the MLS. There were no websites. That's pretty much how old I am at this point. And then after that, went on to start Open Fences Magazine. And we acquired, through a partnership, Land Broker MLS, which was the existing website, became the website for the magazine, and did that for a number of years. And that was acquired by a large group of industry brokers, and it was turned into sort of the basis of what is now the Land Broker Co-op. And I retained an interest in full disclosure because I love the concept of the co-op. I think it's a very important part of the industry and was becoming more important every day as this industry shifts a little bit. But yeah, so I've been around for quite some time, and I just love the space. I like people. I love land. I own land. I'm a land guy myself. So it's always felt like the right fit. Being a Brit, it's always also surprised people like, why does this guy have an accent? But, I grew up fascinated by the West, I guess, and ended up here and ended up working in the space.
That's very cool. And you brought up an interesting point through that. This product is owned and by land brokers. It was kind of a vision for brokers to be able to control their own marketing. Talk just a little bit about the origin, of Land Broker Co-op, and then how the brokers have kind of gotten involved, the broker owners.
The land brokerage space is sort of the dusty corner of the real estate industry, right? Everybody's very familiar with residential real estate. It affects all of us. And commercial real estate. And those two things have existed side by side, but are really quite different. And a different set of tools are needed to be really competent in those spaces. And there's certainly crossover. And the land industry for a long time has always been sort of not one, but not the other, but the lines were fuzzy. Okay, for a long time, unless you were, really a farm guy and you were just selling sections and half sections, and that's probably kept you pretty busy. I'm talking about back in the day, right? But it's always struggled a little bit to have its own identity because it certainly requires its own identity. I think the Realtors Land Institute is an example of a group that have worked very hard and tirelessly to sort of promote that over the years. And we see the co-op being, we're the other side of the same coin with RLI. We work very closely with them. And we have a lot of the same goals. We just sort of come at it from two different directions. So we were frustrated by the fact that we didn't really have our own space, as it were. And we were also noticing that technology entered the space some years ago, and that was great, right? The technology usually makes things better to a point, at least in my experience. So that was a welcome change. It needed to be freshened up, but that technology comes with a price tag. And it became cost prohibitive to be in the land space. In the residential space, you might get a listing and, 6 months is a long shelf life. And there's deals that will sit out there for 4 or 5 years in the land space because they're so specialized. So you're paying the same kind of bills, but for much slower moving product. And it really became difficult for people to afford their marketing. And a group of brokers got together and said, what are we going to do about this? The costs are going up 50%, 100%, 200%, and it just isn't there. So that's how the co-op really came about. Our suggestion was, if we create a co-op and everyone who is a full member is an owner and they will receive a dividend at the end of the year, we can put this cooperative in the middle of this industry and work with everybody. Right? We want to work with every website out there. We want to work with every technologist out there. We work with a lot of them because we believe we can build value for the broker. Everything points back to the land broker at the end of the day. A healthy land broker is a healthy industry, right? So there was a need. It was financial. It was also people were very sensitive to wanting to control their data. They go out and in all weathers and take photos and videos and pay a lot of money for this drone photography and all the things you have to have now, maps, and just to then hand it off to a multi-billion-dollar companies who then basically own it at that point. And that was a rough patch for people. And so we wanted to be a filter for that as well. And we got huge support right from the beginning. Everybody recognized the need for this. And if we made one mistake, it was probably starting too quickly and not, taking a breath, because there was such a momentum which was also has been very encouraging, of course. But I mean, that's really the reason we're here. Yeah, it's been a journey.
Well, you kind of had mentioned that you started out talking about the history of land brokers, specifically land real estate, and I think what's interesting is that for the longest time, like, there were really no investor players in the ag world, at least, and so you would have a local guy that knew all of the people around, that knew the property, and would be able to, you just go visit Joe, and Joe's going to do this, and, we're going to find a person, and what we're going to do first is ask, the cousins and everybody in the family if they want it. And if they don't want it, then Joe's our guy. And what's been interesting is with technology, you're seeing that old way of doing stuff is just so archaic, and those people that are still kind of in that mind space are just leaving a lot of money. And I think, I think the marketing that we've created is just pretty impressive, and so kudos to you and the guys that had the vision to do this, that, to kind of, and again, like, you mentioned RLI, the Realtors Land Institute, that's just making the industry better, that's just partnership with Land Broker Co-op, RLI, and some other folks are just making the industry way better. And so, yeah, it's very, very cool. So, David, I'm sure that there are challenges, but one of the things I know that you're really, really passionate about is your Get Connected program is basically using, not just having that marketing platform so that consumers can go to Land Broker MLS and find listings, but also be that jumping off point to all the other sites that might have and be able to help people sell property. Talk to us a little bit about where we're at with that, and kind of how that incorporation is going.
Sure. And I mentioned earlier, people, listing sites are important in the industry. It's an important way to present your product as a broker to the potential buyers, the public, right? They're very necessary. A big part of what we do is at the co-op is Land Broker MLS, which is the website, the front-facing website for the general public to use. People throw around stats all the time, but we are legitimately the fastest growing website in the space, and we continue to push that. However, the competition is stiff when you've got billions and billions of dollars. We've always sort of maintained more of a quality over quantity, but that is also shorthand for we don't have as much as they have, right? We're still building. We do believe in the quality side. One of the ways we have created a value to the broker, if you put your listings just on the Land Broker Co-op's website, landbrokermls.com, and you became a member, and there's a lot of values in there, and you're going to get leads, and you're going to get discounts, and we have couple of health insurance programs that drive that were designed for us, that drive really good values to the members. There's a lot of other things going on, but you're not going to look at the Land Broker Co-op's website and be blown away by the leads, because it's still growing, although they get stronger every month. And as you mentioned, we've done a pretty good job of working with others and other technologists. There's some really cool technology in this space now. The ability to create and make maps and understand value through solar and all of these different things that are out there, which just make a land broker and a landowner smarter. And that's how you maximize returns. So we've partnered with a lot of them. So when you become a member owner of the Land Broker Co-op, your listings go to Land Broker MLS and you upload them, or perhaps your brokerage does automatically. We have a lot of feeds that come in from brokerages. Yes, your listings are going to go on the Land Broker website, which is landbrokermls.com, but they're also going to go to the Wall Street Journal. They're also going to go to the Dow Jones's site, Mansion Global. They're going to go to Acres, which is, now you get into the industry sites, right? So you've got Acres, you've got RPR, which is it's more on the commercial side, but we provide the land listings to RPR. We provide the land listings to the Realtors Land Institute site, HuntStand, Land Hub, Farms USA, Land Search, Crexy, Landgate, Texas Association of Land Brokers, Acre Value. Pretty soon we'll have Land ID. That goes live soon. Common Ground goes live soon. And Farmland, which is part of the Farm Credit System, goes live soon. Now, all of those sites, your listings are being pushed there while you sleep. You don't do anything. And all of those sites are included in your $990 a year, $990 a year, or your $590 a year if you're a member of the Realtors Land Institute and some other groups that we work with that they've offset and created that discount. I mean, $590 a year is what, $1.60 a day? That's a quarter of a cup of coffee. You know, $2.70 a day is 3/4 of a cup of coffee, and that's before you put anything fancy in it, right? So if you were to go to the Wall Street Journal and you bought their minimum package of 3 listings, and please don't quote me on this because I'm not going to be exact, but it's hundreds of dollars a month, right? All of that is already paid for on your behalf and included. Some of those sites have criteria. I think the Dow Jones, the property has to be at over $1 million for the Mansion Global site. There are some criteria in there, but that is a huge amount of value for a one-time payment, or you can spread it out monthly if you prefer, with no strings attached. No one's making you sign a contract that you can't get out of. A land broker who sits down across the table from a potential lister and says, because this whole program gets white labeled. You can put your own logo at the top of this page because you're the reason it's happening. You're a member owner of this organization. You can look someone in the eye and say, when you list with me, right? And you can lay out all the things that you're already doing, but then you can lay out this whole list of platform list. Okay. And that is a pretty complete approach to the industry, to say the least. And I would say that once you get, below the line, the Wall Street Journal, the Dow Jones, the big mega sites, as it were, and you start looking at RPR and Acres and Land Hub and Land Search and Crexy, etc., those are industry sites. People whose eyeballs are on those are already vested some way in the land space, right? So when they react to your listing, it's not a Zillow reaction. Nothing against Zillow. I use it myself. But it's not a Zillow reaction. It's not oh, wow, I'd love to know what the kitchen looks like in that house that I'm never going to buy. There's a level of relevance there. So it's a really powerful tool. And yeah, we're very passionate about it because I think it's a game changer.
Yeah. Nope, it definitely is. If you don't mind, David, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right. The American Land Seller Podcast is brought to you in part by LandHub.com. Join us today and experience the expertise of LandHub's land marketing professionals. Whether you're buying or selling, let us show you the way in the ever-evolving world of land transactions. Visit LandHub.com and discover what the future of land marketing looks like. LandHub.com, where your land journey begins. All right, we are back with David Light from the Land Broker Co-op, Land Broker MLS. And David, I've been a part of the ambassador program with the Land Broker Co-op for a while. Let's talk just a little bit about that. How did that get started? And it's really kind of an interesting difference from other companies in the sense that you have members that are so excited about the program that they're willing to go out and talk to other folks and try and recruit people into the to the co-op. And I think I've gotten, 10 or 12 in my time, that have signed up. So it's, it's definitely not in my area, there's not a whole lot of land brokers out there, but talking about how the ambassador program got started and what kind of a benefit is that to the co-op.
The ambassador program it arguably sums up what the co-op is, right? You said it yourself. There's a level of excitement and also just the observation that of how important the co-op is for lots of reasons. It's not just a listing site, right? People have to get that out of their head. It's a lot more than that. And the ambassadors kind of sum it up really, really well, because I don't think we ever said, you may have got a free hat out of it, but that's about it. You're doing it because you're doing it because you understand the big picture, right? There's a 30,000-foot view here. And we have, I think at last count, we have 24 ambassadors around the country who use their own dime and their own time to go out and talk to groups or show up where we can't. We can't be everywhere. A co-op is a lean machine. It is not running with some huge war chest. We keep the cost as low as we can, and if there's profit at the end of the year, that goes back to the members in a check. Last time I looked, we were the only company sending money back. And it's not a life-changing amount of money, but the point is, it is a true cooperative, and nothing embodies that better than the ambassador program. And it's been very impactful because brokers don't want to be sold to by another, the sales pro. Hey, buy one get one. That's not what's going on here. This is an industry movement. And they want to hear it from their peers. They want to hear it from, why are you doing it? Well, let me tell you, that conversation is so much more powerful. And it's really been the backbone of a lot of what we do. We're always really proud to talk about our ambassadors. We put them in the magazine, the Land Broker Magazine. Spring issue is going together right now. Another benefit, if you're a member of the co-op, you're basically paying cost on that. It's your magazine. Why you would put money in something else when you own your own, and you can sit down to a listing and say, well, actually, I'm one of the owners of this publication through the cooperative, is powerful stuff. And it's a beautiful publication. Yeah, I think we wouldn't be half what we are without the ambassador program, because it surprises a lot of people. It really it's an attention getter, and it's very real. There's a lot of passion behind it. So we appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. It's and definitely a group of sharp, like I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it. I kind of bring it down but some pretty impressive people in the industry that are on those calls when we do them and that are a part of that ambassador deal. And so, yeah, it's definitely, it's fun to kind of just go talk to people about it. I know, like I recently, I changed companies last year. I've talked about this on other podcasts. And so when I went through that, I joined a company where I was more of my own land broker and nobody else in my company really did land. I was the only one. There's now almost 40 of us.
Oh, wow.
And they're, and we're from 6 different companies. And so, and a lot of the companies, and again, this, but from talking to brokers all over the country, is a lot of the brokers still have that old mentality you talked about in the last segment. Let's keep all the information to ourselves. Let's not share. I worked hard for this information. I worked hard for these pictures. I don't want to share my commission with anybody. Like the I can do it all myself and don't bother me type of mentality. And so, when you have people that come from that world and then people that come from my world, which is like, man, rising tide lifts all boats. It's all, like I'll give you everything I got, and then because I'm always thinking about what the next thing is, so it makes the industry better. So, like that's just kind of one of those things where, like, I had a guy that just recently joined. This is where my long story is going to get shorter. That was like, by the time he joined RLI, Land Broker Co-op, and Land Hub, he had figured out that he had gotten like basically RLI was free, by the time it was done because of the discounts that he got from the three different sources, and all three of those sources work together, um, and so talk about that. Talk about your connection with that RLI aspect. I think at this point, all the listings are going to the RLI site, or they're working on it, or does that change?
They're there. They're on the website. If you go to the connections area on the Realtors Land Institute site, you'll see all of the listings are provided by the Land Broker Co-op. Yeah, RLI, it's my history with RLI goes way back to first meeting I ever went to was in Las Vegas. It was on my first day of employment at Farm and Ranch Magazine a long, long time ago. So I think it was 2000, 2001, 2002. And that was my first day of work at Farm and Ranch. And I went to an RLI meeting in Las Vegas and proceeded to call everybody realtors, which didn't go down very well. And met Michael Landreth there, who was a very active. He became one of the national presidents, but was very active in the Colorado chapter. And he invited me along. And I haven't missed too many meetings in Colorado over the years. We sponsor the ranch tour every year. In fact, we were responsible for putting that together with a couple of members, Steve Fleming in particular, and in Colorado. So I've done a lot with RLI over the years. I saw the value day one. Anyone who's in this industry, you've got to get continuing ed. Why wouldn't you get land-centric continuing ed? And it's affordable. They've got great instructors. You don't want to be the guy that says, hey, you're the last one through the door, close the door behind you, right? A lot of people are going to come in and out of this industry as it should be, and that's just the way it is. But RLI and the Land Broker Co-op, indirectly and directly are sort of building a walled garden around the industry a little bit. There is a level of knowledge necessary to do land transactions. And, you got to understand pipeline easements and mineral rights. Water rights is obviously a huge thing. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble if you're doing a one-off deal. So that organization, I think, has always done an exceptional job on their education and making sure people have the tools so they don't get themselves in trouble. So yeah, we're big supporters of them. They're big supporters of us. And we work together very well.
Yeah. And to your point that, like being a realtor, that's part of the rules of being a realtor is you have to know what you're doing, right? So
yeah,
to be confident in the realm that you're working on. So
you have a fiduciary duty to your client, right? I mean, it's a pretty serious deal. You can't perform that if you don't understand. You don't see too many land guys trying to sell apartment buildings. There's a reason for that, and vice versa.
So, David, why is the co-op so important? I mean, in your mind, in your heart, why do you think it's as important as it is?
I think that if the industry continues just to give it all away to huge companies that are not vested in the industry necessarily, and not doing, there's no bad actors out there. It's just a different mentality. It's a bottom line type scenario for a lot of these companies, and that's nothing wrong with that. So grew this country. I mean, that's all good, but you got to at some point take a step back and go, how do we protect our situation 10 years from now? Right? How do we maintain a level of understanding that when somebody is thinking, well, I'm selling my house in LA, wherever it might be, and I want to buy a ranch in Montana. Am I going to use the same agent? Maybe there's a referral in there. Well, no, because they're probably not licensed in Montana, but take it back. Maybe you're just buying a ranch or land in California. There's a difference, right? You're going to go out and you're going to go find someone to do business with that understands that and has that knowledge. but it's amazing how few people actually realize that that's needed. And I think we are really good at educating the public as to, use a land broker, use a land broker. This is why I use a land broker. We do that through the front end. We do that through the farm credits, the sponsors we have. The sponsorship side of things, so how this looks in the future, we have a lot of support from farm credit systems and other sponsors. Some of the people in the Get Connected program are now turning into sponsors. RLI is a sponsor indirectly. And our final goal is to get to a point where there's enough revenue coming in from our partners and sponsors that being a land broker automatically gets you a membership. There is no fee to be part of the co-op. That's the goal down the road. We want people to understand this is a place you can come, a hub in the industry you can come to, and you can get what you need. Yes, there's discounts on travel, and there's great health insurance, and there's discounts at Cabela's, and there's all these other things you can do. And your listing, as a result, is being aggregated across an entire industry at no extra cost. It's a centralized system that is way, way, way bigger than a listing website. And the quicker we have over 1,000 members now, the quicker we get to 2,000, the least expensive it will be, because the more value that will be added. And man, it's like an investment in future savings. And if the co-op hadn't existed in the first place, we drove prices back down. We stopped prices from going up as quickly as they were going, because the very nature of the co-op made a lot of people uneasy. And they were like, whoa, we better slow our roll here a little bit. I think a lot of people will be surprised how much money the co-op has saved them, and they haven't even joined it. Right? And I would say, if you're a land broker, if you're in this space, you owe it to yourself and the industry and the long-term benefits that become obvious very quickly to join the co-op. Put that cup of coffee down, go spend the money at the co-op.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Let's think of other vices for the next segment from David, so that we don't take people's coffee away. Because,
well, I'm not putting my cup of coffee down. To be fair, it's right there, and I do enjoy my coffee. So
yeah, you can make your coffee once or twice at home, once a week, if you're on dire straits, and that's all
to
you
offset
can.
it. That's a good way to look at it. That's
perfect. All right, brother. Well, let's take a quick break, and we will be back. You got one more segment in you today? Maybe 10, 15 minutes?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
All right, been fun talking to you. We will be right.
All right. Land isn't just dirt. It's where memories are made, families are raised, and livelihoods are built. But when it comes time to sell or buy, the weight of the decision is heavy. Where do you even start? Who can you trust to guide you? For too long, land transactions have been treated like a simple exchange. Numbers on a paper, a signature on a line. But it's more than that. At High Point Land Company, we don't just list land. We walk it, we learn its story, and we find the right buyer who understands its worth. You are not just another deal. You are the steward of something bigger. And we're here to help you navigate every step of the way. When it's time to sell, when it's time to buy, we're here. Because land is more than just land. It's your legacy.
All right, we are back with David Light with Land Broker Co-op. LandBrokerMLS.com is the consumer face, I would guess. I guess that's the where people can go to shop for great land listings. Let's talk just a little bit about that, David, because that's important. we understand now, after the last segment, why it's important to be a member for land brokers, but it's also an incredible tool for consumers, correct?
These days, it's all about getting people to the end product as quickly as possible, right? That's sort of which, I think is very important. I personally don't mind a bit more of a journey, but I don't think that's good for SEO and SEM and all the things that drive websites these days, right? So, they did a great job. CT Adams runs our operations, and he worked with the developers tirelessly, and they put together a really great user interface. It's very simple. It has a thing called an Elasticsearch. So you can literally type in a single word and it will fill a criteria. Now, usually you might want to type in farm, Iowa, and corn, and then you're going to see every listing that's relevant to you. So it has a very intuitive search, which makes life easier. And then once the map shows up and, you can filter it further, there's only so many ways to skin the cat, right, these days on websites. So there's a lot of similarities between all of the sites. And the target is always to make the experience as easy as possible. We don't overwhelm people. There's not ads everywhere and flashing lights. You see what you search for. So there's no preference given. But if you are looking for 75 acres in Colorado and it must have a horse barn, somebody's listing without the horse barn, which is 40 acres, isn't going to show up because they paid extra. Okay? You're going to see what you search for. It's extremely clean in that respect. And I think that's very important to people. They don't want to wade through things they didn't ask for so a company can make more money. Right. They want to see what they need to see. So we've made sure that is very searchable. The map interface works very, very well. So yeah, it's, the only advertising you're going to see on there for the Realtors Land Institute, because we're big believers and supporters. They're not writing us a check for that. That's because they are important. And you'll see a farm credit. You'll see a lender. A lot of people getting into the land space don't understand that there is, so many deals fall apart at the last minute because the high street bank actually only lends on the house in 10 acres, even if you've got 500 acres. They don't really put value on that extra 500 acres. And you really want to work with a lender that understands land and how to put a land deal together. So you will see those two things out there. But it's all about tools and the things that will help you be a better landowner. That's sort of how we like to focus.
Right. And I think one of the things that's kind of a plus to it too is that all land brokers are created equal on this site, right? So where you're not coming to me and saying, hey, Kobe, for $1,000 a month, we can make you the premier. It's all about the land. It's not about funneling people to a particular property, like you said, because of the fact that, Sam, the land broker, paid you more money than Kobe, the land broker, did. It's helping our clients and our consumers find exactly what they're looking for, which I think is epic in this space.
It's a big advantage for us because the consumer wants that too. They don't want to have to sift through a bunch of stuff just because somebody paid to have it there. They want to see what they want to see. And the brokers, doesn't matter if you sell $100 million worth of land a year or $1 million worth of land a year, you're an equal member, you're an equal owner, and you're of equal importance, right? Because at the end of the day, this industry is driven at all levels, right? So yeah, it's a level playing field. And that makes our job a whole lot easier. Honestly, it really does. And there are some brokers that are like, well, how do I get a premium membership, or how do I become a platinum? Or you don't. Yeah. You don't. But do you want people who are contacting you because it's pretty, or do you want people contacting you because it's what they searched for? So you're going to have a high percentage of quality hits that way. And And not to go back to get connected in any major way, but to that point, because of this program, we get copies of those leads. We don't get copies of we're not contacting the people. We see a lead came from one of our Get Connected programs to the broker. So the brokers through that program and through the Land Broker MLS site are getting a whole bunch of leads every month because of that membership. So yeah, that's all part of the value. But we're very proud of the front end of this site and how it affects searches and how we're able to inform the public of, hey, here's how you do it, here's who you talk to, and put quality listings in front of them.
Yeah, no, that's again. I think your point to hammer home is it's not just about one tool or one agent. It's about making, creating a product that once the consumer figures out that it's there, that's their go-to, right? That's the whole goal. Is like, oh, well, I really don't care, I really don't care about this, this property. I want to find, irrigated farm ground in Dawson County, Nebraska, or, I don't want to, have to sift through 3 ranches and something else when I search for something specific, just because somebody paid a premium price.
I mean, it's been the most positive comment we get most regularly is, thank you for showing me what I'm looking for. Directly or indirectly, that comment comes a lot from the public. And one of the reasons we're growing so fast on leads and in the network that is the internet, right, is because a lot of people, we get reusers, because the experience is clean and simple and they're not being sold to, they're just getting good information and being able to make smart decisions. So that's really key to the success of the site. So yeah, it's easy to do when you're a co-op.
And I think the interesting thing is the last several years, I think we've been transitioning from the technology and, generation or technology era into more of the information era. And people more and more and more are getting to the point where just get me where I need to go as fast as I can. Don't lie to me. Don't, and if you can be that trusted space, in our industry, which you are, that's incredible. Let's transition to kind of one of the flagships of what we're doing is the magazine, Land Broker. What is it? Land Broker MLS Magazine?
Yeah, Land Broker Magazine. Well, that's kind of more of a passion for me because I came from the print side, right? So people ask me, how does your website do that? And I have to find someone way smarter than me to answer the question because I'm not a tech guy. Luckily, we've got really good people. But the print side of things, print has changed a lot. Okay. It used to be the only option for marketing. Depending on how a company is set up, sometimes they will do print because they feel like they have to. Sometimes that means they're not being very creative, in my opinion. But it's a great way to brand a company. It's a great way to improve your opportunity to get listings. And plenty of buyers still come through print. There's no question. It's not the same amount, but what drives somebody to a property on a website? These are unmeasurables, right? So I know that when we send our magazine out, if it's a day or two late getting to a particular individual, my phone rings. Oh, where's the magazine? People wait for it. They expect it. They've been getting it for years. They got it when it was Open Fences Magazine, and the name change happened when it was acquired to Land Broker Magazine, but it's the same magazine, and they sit there watch by it. Now, they use it as a quiet MLS in some respects. What's new? What are the prices doing? It's something they can pick up and put down without turning on a screen. And I'm a magazine guy. I'm a great believer in the importance of publications. But if I'm going to be in a publication, it has to fit within the budget because my digital budget's gone through the roof, right? If I'm going to give up something, it's probably going to be print. I don't know that that's the right move. As we move into a situation where, it's going to be harder and harder with all the stuff that's going on and in the world right now with commissions and lawsuits and etc. It's going to be harder and harder for a buyer side broker to get paid. And it's going to be way, way more about the listings than it's ever been before. And it's always been about the listings, but it's going to be even more so. And I'm going to want a print element that I'm consistent in. And that magazine is the best deal in town. If you're a member, the first time you put a magazine ad in as a non-member, if you join and get the discount, you've just covered the cost of your membership.
Yeah.
Or at least most of it. It's a no-brainer, right? And Land Broker Magazine has a custom cover program. So for not a lot of money, you can put your listing on a couple of hundred copies on the front cover with an ad for yourself on the inside front cover. The rest of the magazine remains the same. Your ad is still in there anyway, and that can get directly mailed to a list of your choice. Local landowners, to your office, you might want to hand them out. People use them in listing presentations. Here's a national publication. Here I am on the cover. And the inside front cover. And as a member, you're getting all this for basically cost. I mean, I think it's cost. They've got to cover a commission. They've got to cover a few things, but it is paper printing, distribution, plus 10% or something. It's extremely inexpensive as a member and a huge member benefit. The more and more people need to utilize.
It's a really great tool. And I have, one time I had a property that I did use the cover deal, and it was pretty smooth. It's not only was it slick because my clients thought it was pretty awesome that their property was on the cover, but it was also, I could take it to trade shows and stuff like that and be like, hey, like this is the kind of marketing that we do. I don't know like what everybody else is up to, but where does the magazine go? Just how do you, if somebody's interested in getting signed up for it, or is there a cost for the consumer to get it sent to them?
No, I mean, so no, there's an option to subscribe and you can have the digital version for free, and you can sign up for that. That's so easy. There's no hard cost to us to do that, so we certainly don't pass that cost, the fake cost on. But the actual magazine itself, get with your land broker, get with a co-op member, and ask them to put you on the list. They contact us. If it's through a broker, then we'll put you on that list and you'll receive a copy. When we started Open Fences, which was this magazine before the name change, we built most of the distribution before we ever sold a page. And we have a phenomenal distribution on that publication, a very loyal readership. We have lots of examples of the magazine being the reason somebody reached out. And we were talking about it earlier, and I didn't really finish that point, that you can't always track where these leads come from. Somebody sees that a photo in a magazine, it's usually one or two photos. That got their interest. They don't have enough information. That is going to drive them to the website. It might drive them to your website directly or to the Land Broker website so they can see more photos, so they can look at the mapping, so they can look at a video. And there's the guy or the gal that's representing it. They pick up the phone. And someone will say, well, how did you hear about us? Oh, I'm on your website. Great. Hey, our website. Fantastic. Well, yeah, your website probably is fantastic, and it does a very important job. But rarely will that get tracked back to a print ad. But there are a lot of people that like to read this publication and have done for many years. Landowners and wannabe landowners, the future landowners, and people who are considering selling, and they want to know, well, who does good marketing? And they'll pick it up and go, yeah, these guys are consistent. They obviously have the right kind of budget and attitude. Maybe I'll give them a call. It's important. It's important.
Yep, I think one of my largest clients that I have, and he's kind of an active investor. He called me out of my ad in that book.
Yep.
So,
sure.
Yeah, so it's a great feature. I think it even, I don't know if I'm right on this. Does it go to like some FBOs and
Yep.
different
Oh,
things
yeah.
too,
Private
like
jet
private
terminals and
jets. Yeah.
yeah, FBOs, fixed-based operators, right? Yes, it does. We actually email a pretty large number overseas to potential investors as well. We don't really ship the physical magazine because it's just cost prohibitive. Our goal is to keep costs down for brokers, give them as much value as possible for the minimum cost, right? And if we make a profit, we send them a check at the end of the year. And we sent checks the first year the co-op existed, and we've sent one ever since, right? So shipping magazines overseas doesn't make sense, but it's very easy to provide them with a digital copy, and we do have a good subscriber list on that as well. So it's far-reaching, and it's really been around for a long time. Open Fences started way back when. We're probably 15 years now of magazines, and over a period of time, if you're paying attention, you can build a really strong readership, right? And we take the readers and the lists very, very seriously. That's the backbone of any publication.
Well, and my own personal experience is it's kind of fun because as an ambassador, I get a case of them sent to me every time, right? And so that's an excuse for me to, throw those in the pickup, and then I go around visit lenders and, some of the farm lenders and some of some of the producers and different things in the area, and I can drop off that magazine to them and talk to them about what's going on, and it's once a quarter. It gives me an excuse to get out and go visit some people, and so it's a fun deal. And there's people that they look forward. They'll call, like you said, be like, "Hey, where's my
copy? Yeah.
Isn't it about time for spring to happen for us here, bud? Or the summer or whatever." So yeah, it's a cool tool that we have fun with. And again, I think you don't have to be an ambassador. If you want a box or something for an event you're doing, even before I was an ambassador, I'd call and be like, "Hey, I'm going to a trade show. Can you send me some magazines?" And they would send me out a box of them so that I could send them out at trade shows and different things.
Yeah,
so
we keep a certain amount back for sort of those surprises, and for a few weeks after the magazine comes out, we've got homes for every copy at the end of the day, so they don't go to waste. But we always like to make sure we have a few extras laying around. So it's the magazine's just a lot of fun to work on too, and I miss it because I don't get a lot of time. David Swallock runs the magazine for us, David Z, as we call him, and he's always happy to talk to anybody about the publication, and we're always happy to talk to anybody about becoming a Land Broker Co-op member.
Speaking of that, how do people get a hold of you, or who do you want them to get a hold of at the Land Broker Co-op? If somebody's listening to this and they're like, "Hey, I know the website for consumers is landbrokermls.com. You can search all the land listings. I would imagine thousands and thousands of listings at this point.
Correct.
But if I'm wanting to get directly in touch with you or somebody in your group, David, who do we go to?
Well, if you have interest in joining the co-op as a land agent, land broker, then drop me a line, David at landbrokercoop.com, and that's just COOP, just like the hair. And I'll make sure the right person gets back to you very quickly. And as far as that could be for the magazine, that could be for membership, direct membership, more questions. If you want to get on the Curator is a bi-weekly digital piece we send out to the industry with updates. If you want to get on that list, I'll make sure sort of centralize your information and make sure the right people get it. And we'll get you hooked up. If you're in this industry and you're not a member of the Land Broker Co-op, you need to really seriously ask yourself, why not? Because there is not a compelling reason. There are a lot of compelling reasons to do it. There aren't many not to do it. And it just probably is you haven't got around to it yet, or you're just learning about it. Either way, reach out anytime. We're happy to talk about it. We love, as you can tell, I don't shut up. So we love to talk about it. So please reach out. We want you as members. We need you as members. And we want to grow together.
Perfect. All right. Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today, David. I know you're a busy man, and great conversation. And I learned a lot. And I'm an ambassador, so that's good. That there's so much going on that even those of us that kind of pay attention closely are still learning. So, any parting shots? Anything you want to say before we close it out today?
Just thank you. It's actually nice sometimes you do these things and it reminds you of a lot of things you haven't thought of for a while too. You're like, wow, yeah, man, this really is a good deal.
Yeah. Forgot how awesome I am.
I can enjoy it. Yeah, so no, we'd love to hear from everybody. We do appreciate the opportunity, and thank you so much for having us.
All right. And if you're listening to this and you want to receive a copy of the Land Broker MLS Magazine, reach out to me. I'll try and get you on the list. And thanks, everybody, for listening today, and we will see you all down the road.
As we wrap up another episode of the American Land Seller Podcast, thank you for joining us. Visit www.americanlandseller.com and find us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. If you would be so kind and you enjoyed today's insights, please like, subscribe, rate, follow, and review us on whatever app you are listening or watching on. Connect with us on social media for updates. Until next week, Kobe wishes you success in your land endeavors. God bless you and have a great week.
The American Land Seller is brought to you in part by LandHub.com. Are you in the market for the perfect piece of land? Look no further than LandHub.com, your solution to the biggest challenges facing land buyers and sellers today. At LandHub, we're revolutionizing land transactions by effectively connecting buyers and sellers. Say goodbye to the struggle of finding or marketing land for sale. We understand the power of new media marketing, leveraging social media and targeted ads to bring together the ideal audience for all property types. Join us today and experience the expertise of LandHub's land marketing professionals. Whether you're buying or selling, let us show you the way in the ever-evolving world of land transactions. Visit landhub.com and discover what the future of land marketing looks like. Landhub.com, where your land journey begins. And High Point Land Company. When it comes to buying and selling land, High Point Land Company sets the standard for excellence across the Midwest and beyond. Our expert land specialists bring unmatched market knowledge and a personal touch to every single transaction. Whether it's a farm, ranch, recreational, or even investment property, we provide the expertise and integrity you can trust. Looking to buy or sell? We offer a premier selection of properties and a marketing strategy designed to get you results. From productive farmland to recreational retreats, we help you maximize your investment. Visit www.highpointlandcompany.com today and experience the difference. High Point Land Company, a true leader in land sales.